As I've mentioned in previous episodes, it is not easy juggling all the different tasks involved in running your Etsy business. This week, I want to talk about the one thing that I feel is essential for you and your business and for the longevity of your business. Let's talk about it today on Adventures in P.O.D. Hi, welcome to Adventures in P.O.D. I'm your host, Ryan McGinnis. I'm the owner of S&D Designs, a self-published author on Amazon, and the owner of 217 Press, which is for now an Etsy store powered by print on demand. When I created Adventures in P.O.D., I created this podcast to be, sort of document my journey in the world of Etsy and print on demand, which is something I'd never done before. You see, I've built websites, I've wrote books, I've done a lot of stuff. I've played in a band and been on tour, but I have never had an Etsy store or print on demand. And so I thought this podcast would be a good way to document my journey in the world of print on demand. So this week I wanted to talk, in previous weeks I have talked about how difficult it can be to manage your all the business aspects involved in your Etsy store. I mean, you've got a ton of stuff. You've got to upload products, you got to design products, you got to advertise products, you got to market those products, you got to do social media if you do that. You got to do a podcast. Like I do a couple podcasts, honestly. I like to, only one on Etsy, like about Etsy, but I do two podcasts. But that's a lot of work. That is a lot to juggle. It's a lot of mental strain, and like I've said in previous weeks, I get overwhelmed. Sometimes I get a little bummed out. I'm always, I feel like I struggle a lot with handling it, and so it can be very difficult. And my dog's down here. Hi, dog. But the one thing that I think is essential if you're going to have a successful Etsy business, and not just Etsy, I mean, this could be anything, but we're talking about Etsy business on here. So I'm just going to say, if you want to have a successful Etsy business, if you want to have a successful business and be able to be successful and make money and have longevity, I think the key to it all is self-care. The most important thing, of course, self-care. The best thing that you can do when you're running an Etsy store is to take care of your mental health. If you're like me, you will absolutely run yourself in the ground to get your business started and to get your business, to where it needs to be. But it is essential to take time out and have some self-time, have some me time or some you time, whatever you want to call it, and have some rest. Don't discount this. I know a lot of you guys are probably like clicking the off button, like I'm out of here, but stick with me because you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of your health. You need to take care of your mental health. You need to take care of your physical health. It's really important. As a matter of fact, while you guys are watching this video, I'm actually on vacation in San Antonio. And for a change, I didn't take any work with me. A lot of times, and I know you guys are guilty of this too, I'll go on vacation, but I'll take my laptop or I'll take my iPad and I'll still, do a little work, do a little thing, little stuff here and there. Not this time. I'm on vacation. We're actually going to see The Damned at the Paper Tiger, and that's going to be really awesome because it's the original lineup, so we're really excited about that. But so I think it's important, it's important to take time, it's important to do stuff, it's important to rest, because the most important tool you have in any business, but particularly your Etsy business, especially if you do all the designing yourself, the most important tool you have is right here between your ears. It's your brain. That is the most important thing. And if you don't take care of this, then none of the rest of it's going to matter because you're not going to, be able to do good work. You're not going to do, crank out great designs, and it's just not going to work. Your business will fall apart. You need this. This is the most important tool. But you say to me, hey, Ryan, maybe I don't have money to go on vacation. I don't have time, to go on vacation. And that's okay. If you don't have time or money to go on vacation, I mean, you can do a lot without even leaving the town you're in. Or hell, in some cases, not even leaving the house, although I highly suggest leaving the house. Don't just sit at the house all the time. That's not healthy. That's no fun. Not that you can't have fun at home, because some of us play video games. I have a friend that plays video games all day and all night. I have several friends. I'm not one of those dudes. Me, I'm more of a retro game guy. I'll play some Pac-Man, some Miss Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Galaga, Dig Dug, that kind of stuff. Dig Dug's actually my jam. But but if you don't have money to go on vacation, you don't have money to get away from it all. You can. There are things you can do. In fact, I'll give you a few things that I do because I don't go on vacation that often. I used to go on vacation a lot, and nowadays, since the pandemic, I barely go anywhere. I think after things calmed down, right after, off subject for a second, but when things right after the pandemic, we went on a cruise. We'd never been on a cruise before. And so after the pandemic had calmed down, all the lockdowns were over, we went on a cruise. And you know what I got from the cruise? I got COVID. That's no fun. I got the big C. But it happens. But anyway, getting back to it, if you don't have money to go on vacation, you don't have money to go anywhere, do anything, there's a lot you can do. And so I wanted to list a few things that I like to do. Number one, take a walk, preferably with a dog. I love my dog. Set aside time to do something you love, whether that something is video games, painting, reading, writing, playing music, playing checkers, playing board games, gardening. There's like 1,000,001 things. Playing golf if you're that boring, but no offense to my golf friends that play golf, but it's kind of boring. Go to a football game, just do something you love, because I think stimulating stuff, doing stuff that's your passion, that's fun, that you find interesting and fun, that you're not making money from, that I think that's very stimulating, and I think that helps grow this and helps relax and helps get you into stuff. Also, spend time with friends. Spend time with a loved one. If you don't have anybody nearby that you're friends with or you love, call somebody, email somebody, talk to somebody. The important thing is just to get out there. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. I think my dog is eating something. Stop. Whatever you're doing, behave. It's a sweet dog. It is a sweet dog. But anyway, spend time with a friend, with a loved one, hang out with people, because I think social contact will help a lot, and it'll help alleviate some of this darkness and some of this heavy dread that hangs on our heads so much, But you can also, if you're into cooking, you can cook. I love to cook. I think there's a zen in cooking. I cook Mediterranean, I cook, Mexican, I cook, all kinds of stuff, birria, al pastor, I do London broils, I do steaks, I do burgers, I do pizzas, there's all kinds of stuff. I like food, in case you can't tell. But no, I'm not going to do a food podcast. There's too many of those, but if you don't have time or energy to cook, then go out to eat. There's nothing wrong with it, in fact, go out to eat and take that friend or loved one I talked about and have some fun, have a good time. I think the most important thing of all of this, we are all just trying to make it. Etsy's oversaturated. Amazon, KDP, where you write books, that's oversaturated. It's oversaturated because we're all just trying to make it. We're all just trying to make money. We're all just trying to pay rent, because this world gets more and more expensive and the pay don't necessarily go up. So we're all trying to hustle. We're all trying to make it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Give yourself grace, give yourself patience, and just hang in there. Because, even though it's all a hustle, even though it's all a rat race, even though it's all, it's just all this stuff, like this just never ending list of stuff, it is very important to take time out, because if you don't take time out and take care of yourself, then you're going to get burnout. Your business is going to suffer. Your profits are going to go down if you have profits. Or you're like me, then you'll just get further in the red, or whatever. But but it's okay. You really, no matter what, just take away from this that you have to have time for self-care. You have to have time to take care of yourself, and if you do, then you've got more of a chance of success than if you allow yourself to burn out and just run yourself in the ground. So so unlike the past, God, I was thinking about. God, I'm off on a tangent now, but here it goes. freaking hustle culture that was so prevalent for a while. I have clients that are hustle culture fanatics, and not me, buddy. Don't call me on the weekend. Don't call me at night. Unless it's an emergency. I mean, if somebody's website crashes or something, sure, call me. But these guys, they just run themselves in the ground. I've only had like 3 hours sleep every night for the last like 3 weeks. I'm like, for God's sakes, go to bed, get some rest. There's got to be a balance between your work and your life, and you've got to stay sane up here, and you've got to keep all your senses sharp. So take my advice. Do self-care. Do take care of yourself. When you're running your Etsy shop, when you're doing, no matter what business you do, take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health, because that's more important than any of this. You don't want to be burnt out. You don't want to be overwhelmed. You don't want to just be consumed by all this. And so that's the episode for this week. That's my advice. If you enjoyed the episode, give it a like, give it a subscribe, click the notification bell, because the algorithm doesn't always show you the videos, even if you're subscribed to them. You really need to click the notification bell to be notified when we put out a new episode. And I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate everybody that watches this podcast, because it makes it, I'm just doing this to document my journey and see what's up. But if it helps somebody, all the better. If somebody sees this and sees it and are like, hey, that's cool, it helps you get through the day. Or if you just need somebody to give you permission to just chill, hey, just chill, dude. It's all good, but I appreciate you guys so much. If you appreciate it, if you get something out of what I said, please get in the comments. Let's talk about it. If you're feeling overwhelmed, get in the comments. I'll talk to you. I don't have any problems doing that at all. I respond to every comment. So you guys have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. I'll be back from vacation next week, and we'll have another podcast, and I will talk to you guys soon.